kids to have a social responsibility, because individual people don't always know what's best for them. I don't know what's best even for myself. My best friend won't get his vaccines, and my dad won't get.
What's going on, man?
What's up, buddy? What's up,
Long
buddy?
time no see. Long time no see.
2 weeks or so? 2 weeks or so?
A lot has happened since then. You know, Trump has been on the move, on the thing, doing his thing. I mean, at least I think he was doing his thing. With some things, you know.
Some of the stuff is good, some of the stuff is scary.
The healthcare related stuff. The stuff that influences and affects nurses and doctors and anybody in healthcare. The first thing is the black, removing sensitive healthcare related material.
He turned off the lights?
What?
The blackout?
Oh yes, it's blackout. The blackout.
What the hell are you talking about?
He got rid of all the data. Not all the data, but like some of the data pertaining to LGBTQ and gender ideology and racial disparities, and a lot of that stuff has been blacked out. Now it has been put back in.
Some of it or all of it?
Some of it has been put back in.
So now data has not been corrupted.
Corrupted or decorrupted, I think it depends on who's looking at it, who's reading it.
But here's the thing though. Empirical data should never be removed from a database. The whole idea behind getting data is because you want to collect a gamut that's reflective across the board. And if we're gonna now sit on the other side of denial and say these people don't exist or these ideologies don't exist and we won't collect data on it, now we're putting ourselves at a disadvantage of data. Like, if we don't have the data, we can't track it. If we can't track it, we can't predict it. If we can't predict it, we become blindsided by it. And if we become blindsided by it, we can't make money off of it. I mean, capitalistic.
Is it empirical or is it data that is biased to prove or sell or to socially engineer is the question. Because you can easily use data, skew data to socially engineer to people to believe whatever you want to believe. I mean, it's happened before. It's going to continue to happen. I mean, so I don't know about this one, man. I think if whatever was removed is not straight up biology,
straight up
science,
and if it is information that is particularly biased towards whatever the left or the right is trying to socially engineer us to be, I think it is okay.
It is okay.
That's the thing. Nobody's socially engineering. Nobody's socially engineering.
I don't even think I believe that people.
No.
Are you saying?
Socially engineering us? Capitalism is socially engineering us.
Okay.
The algorithm is socially engineering us. We socially engineer ourselves, and then we play victims and say, somebody else did it to me. We do it to ourselves, man. Once again, we as human beings love the blame game. It's somebody else's fault. Somebody else controlled us. Somebody else made us the bad guy, right? Have you ever watched that show? It's the devil show. It's called Lucifer.
I've never seen it.
Never? Wonderful show. The premise is that the devil is a fallen angel, right? That he gets blamed for all the bad stuff that people do. And he's sick and tired of.
I never make any of you do anything.
That's not true. You trick us into sin, damnation.
I have a story for you, reporter. One I've never told a human soul before. I take no part in who goes to hell.
Then who does?
You humans. You send yourselves driven down by your own guilt, forcing yourselves to relive your sins over and over. And the best part, the doors aren't locked. You could leave any time. It says something that no one ever does, doesn't it?
No. You're to blame.
I am responsible for a lot of things, Reese, but not your soul, not your actions, and not whoever...
You make that choice. You're the bad person. You decide to be the bad person. You make that conscious decision, or you don't make that conscious decision. But it's your thing, man. It's and I believe that it's your consciousness.
But how do you know you're in the matrix? If you don't know you're in the matrix. If you don't know you're in the matrix. How do you know you're in the matrix? If you don't know you're in the matrix, like how do you know? Like people don't know they're being socially engineered. Like I never knew I was being socially engineered.
Advertising is social
But
engineering.
they're not aware of it though. For instance, you know, to bring up the whole homosexuality thing and how there's an increased acceptance in media of homosexual scenes, you know, there even like just it's more so present now in our society as opposed to when I was little, and so
it's cycled again. It's cycled again, and I want to premise that.
Why?
Because if you
I
go
don't remember
back,
seeing a lot of this stuff.
No, you
Never
don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't.
I don't.
You don't. But if you go back in history, you do see it in cyclical,
yes.
in cyclical, you know, events,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Characters and sketches that have aged horribly. But even though these characters, accents, and let's just call them ethnic wigs, were unquestionably in poor taste, you all laughed at them. So if anyone should be canceled, shouldn't it be you, the audience?
So cultures change, times change, people's practices change, but we shouldn't forget history, right? These ideologies are not new. So when we create these taboos around it, for me personally, it's funny because it's like, you know, this is not a new mentality, but because we haven't spoken about it or addressed it for so long, all of a sudden it's this new topic again.
It's not as taboo as it was before, I guess is the point that I'm trying to make.
Correct.
But I feel like
And it shouldn't be.
it's being introduced in our society more and more and more, and
It's being
that's
normalized.
part of social engineering, in my opinion. You go on, if you have X, you know, you see this. To me, there's a divide among Xers or Twitter people. You have your extreme lefts and you have your extreme rights, and there's definitely
That's also
a socially engineered. So we are being very, very, very much socially engineered, in my opinion. If you're not aware of that,
And the algorithm's not helping.
correct. Yes, like you said, it
It
makes
feeds
it worse.
into your
It makes it worse.
feeds into your rabbit hole.
Right.
It truly feeds, like if you like something, it gives you more of what you like. So therefore, your tunnel vision into your perspective of life can become very skewed very quickly.
Right. So, is removing or the blackout beneficial or going to be beneficial, or is it going to serve someone's agenda? That remains to be seen. However,
It's never good though. Fundamentally, it's not good. Fundamentally, it's not good. Removal of any type of data point, right? As a researcher, as a healthcare provider, right? You're a trained healthcare provider.
Right.
The more data points you have, right? The more tracking of blood pressure you have,
Right.
glucose monitoring, name it.
That's-
Pick
yeah.
your trend. It doesn't matter. Trend is a trend. It's a data point. The more data points you have on something, the more safe you can act.
Right. So I guess the question, what I'm trying to, get across is, if that data is actually data versus wording or phrases that fit someone's agenda that could be biased towards whatever it is that they're trying to push.
But here's the thing: we fixate on wording.
Well, it's
Euphemisms. You know what a euphemism is?
yes, I do.
Right, a euphemism for everybody. It's it's a semantic. It's a play on words. It's changing of words to mean different things. The same thing in different words.
Semantics.
Right. It's self-created. Right. Shell shock back in the day has now changed. Right. PTSD. Now PTSD has changed into something else. We because a negative connotation, right? Homosexuality changed into gay changed into something else, bi changed into something, right? We play with these words and it gets to a point of reactions to it. Like, what do we remove? Like, why are we removing terminology and semantics? Do I think at one point or another, do we need to draw a line in the sand and say, like, we're calling the same thing too many things now?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation that we can have. But be clear about that. Have a conversation about that.
When you get to the bottom line, though, I think there is a need to be transparent with this information, and so removing it, does that make it more opaque? I don't know, but I think the information needs to be presented in a way where it's unbiased, and I think if what he's doing is removing the bias, then I'm all for it. If it's not, then that's a different story. I think it's a necessary temporary pain to weed out anyone that shouldn't be on these things or shouldn't be receiving those funds, because they are American taxpayer dollars. I mean, we want to see our money going to something, and we want to know where it's going. And I think that transparency is super important for our future. And we have the technology right now to do that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can disagree with tracking how we spend money in this country. I personally think it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a negative thing necessarily, knowing
where your money is going. Like, where is our money going?
And being transparent about it. As long as they are transparent about it, though. Concern that the Democrats also have, though, is that the people who are starting to oversee some of these things are people who are business owners themselves. But this goes back to a bigger conversation than that your political leaders should not be your business leaders. So this country has to now make a decision whether, if you want your business leaders to become your political leaders, then at one point or another, yes, the biggest CEO or the top 5 CEOs will stand behind. And guess what? They will go through the books, and these are private sector people, not public sector, career politicians. Right. What do you want? Like, you're setting yourself up for this, but then people act surprised by these things.
Right.
I don't understand it. It's.
I think the American people should be happy that we're finding out there's a whole bunch of fraud going on, and to figure that out and then know where all that money is going, and then putting it towards something that's going to benefit the American people. I think that is what we all want. I really don't like this whole left-right thing. I mean, I feel like that's a socially engineered thing. I think we all have the same goal, is to kind of live our own version of the American dream, right? And that takes taxes in some way, shape, or form, and us knowing where that money is going.
Some programs make sense, some programs do not make sense.
Like sex transfers in Guatemala, like, why are we paying for that? Like, I don't understand.
Why would the government fund?
Why?
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
See, I want to do more research on that, but that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, programs like this don't make sense. The money spent on disease prevention makes sense. Right? Condoms, give or take, depending on the usage and how you want to spin it, makes sense. It does. I don't want HIV/AIDS.
But we shouldn't be paying for other countries.
HIV/AIDS should not be something that's rampant. And if the simplest thing we could do is provide latex condoms to the world, give everybody condoms, bro. That's the cheapest thing we could do. I promise you.
Let's buy Americans condoms.
We can buy Americans condoms. We're not even teaching Americans condoms properly.
No.
Right?
Humans gonna be human.
For all my college students, the first time you put it on, if you put it on the wrong way and it doesn't, roll on, and you flip it and you roll it on, guess what? You just transmitted anything on there to my females. Same thing. Anything that's already on there, right, from the tip of the penis, including semen. So you can get pregnant if they put it on the wrong way and they flip and then but I put it on a condom.
You can't.
I used to teach this stuff.
I think ultimately, I want to know what our government is doing. I want to see it, whether it comes to
transparency is a beautiful thing.
It's a wonderful thing. Whether it's for healthcare, whether it's the data aggregated from healthcare studies, where the money is going.
The fear is that information now doesn't get used the wrong way, because the flip side of it is this. as insurance companies, I can turn around and take that information, right?
Right.
And if we don't, this goes back to, is healthcare a right or a privilege? It's not a privilege, and I can prove him wrong right now. Are you ready for this?
Prove it wrong.
Yeah? Is it privilege?
Yes, it's a privilege.
Is it privilege?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Your kid or you, God forbid, right? Fall, break your leg, do something now, right? Me as an insurance company, right? Look at you, go, oh, damn. You had a high risk for this, and that. And my calculation, and based off of all the information that I have access to your data now, right? I can say formula-wise, yeah, you're gonna cost me a lot. So I'm not gonna pay for you, and I'm not going to accept you as my insurance. I'm gonna deny you insurance. If I deny you insurance,
But that happens all the time, though.
but you see, that's wrong. That's wrong. We had some laws changed for with the Affordable Care Act stuff, right?
Right.
That took preconditions away. So therefore, you cannot be denied, because healthcare is an evolving thing. It's not a static thing. It's not something that is, once you take it.
I look at it as I'm innately a person who inherently cares about other people, and I
Obviously
believe
not.
I believe in do unto others as you want done unto you. So
The frush maker.
I believe that's how you. I believe in karma.
You believe in karma?
I believe in karma.
I don't believe in karma, but go ahead.
Okay.
I'm the non-spiritual atheist, whatever, and I'm the nice one that wants humanity to succeed.
I do too. But I believe there's more personal responsibility than,
That's a different conversation, though.
and I think healthcare is
I
a
don't disagree
personal
with that.
responsibility.
I
I
don't
think
disagree with that.
you control what you eat, how you exercise, and what you put in your mouth, and what medications you take. You control a lot more than what people allow themselves to think that they control. So I can't control what you do.
I agree.
You're at work. I'm at home.
I agree.
I'm at work. My wife's at literally
I agree.
like we can't control each other
As a
at
nurse
all. So
practitioner.
there is personal responsibility. So yes, maybe there is some room for both, and there is a fine line
There's
between.
no maybe that there's room for both. There is.
There
room
is,
for
there
room.
is.
There has to be room for both.
Yes.
Because if we don't acknowledge both, then we will always be running with one foot tied.
Yes. So yes, in a
That's
way,
the problem. Both have to exist. Yes, the self-responsibility 100% needs to be there. But how does that get there? We're social human beings.
we are.
We're not individualistic.
We're not.
The American dream sold you one big lie.
It depends on each
We're
other.
not individuals.
Yeah.
We're not individuals. We are individuals, but we don't function as individuals. We do not function as individuals, bro.
No, I agree with that. I just
Your interdependency on other human beings cannot be downplayed in the slightest.
Yeah, I agree with that. Listen, there's no argument with that. But that doesn't
if that's a
make
fundament-
healthcare.
If that's a
right.
fundamental truth, then healthcare is a right. Is it right?
It's a
Because
right sometimes, then, because it's not right all the time. I'm sorry, it can't be.
What you are referring to, and this is based off of previous conversation, what you're referring to will kill you. What you're referring to is the ideology of you not taking advantage of the healthcare that should be provided to you, meaning that you should not be taking if you have the Ozempic, going back to the Ozempic, if I can go exercise or I can take a pill, and therefore that right there tells me that the person who's providing the healthcare is not doing it in a responsible manner, because the pill is never healthier than the pill will come with constipation, irritable bowel, heart rate issues, this, that, possible death. It comes with these side effects, with these adverse effects.
Right.
The pill is never safer.
It's not the primary.
Then-
Yes.
It's never safer. It's never safer.
And we don't teach primary preventative medicine here.
But
And
that-
that is the root cause. Even though we disagree on that one part, preventative medicine is the best medicine.
We
in my
agree on
humble
that part.
opinion.
We agree on that part. As a right, that's how the nuances of discrimination can come into play. That's how governments come into play. if you are not able to get treated for the different various health issues, right, will eventually have a dissatisfactory viewpoint of your government.
So then the question is, how do you prevent the abuse of the rights of healthcare? Because humans will, just like
what do
you
you
said.
define as abuse, though?
For instance, if you're an alcoholic and you're a known alcoholic, liver disease, what you're saying is that American people should pay for that person who made those knowingly wrong mistakes, and
Because nobody's perfect. Everybody makes a mistake.
that's like saying you're gonna pay
Everybody
the
makes a
gamblers who also gonna pay their mortgage for the month. Why would you do that? That's their fault.
No, but their mortgage should not be in a way where they can't recover if they do make a mistake.
But it's not a mortgage. You gambled it away. You literally said you took the risk.
Illogical. Look, as a human being, I'm not saying that I want
to pay for it.
I don't want you to.
I will pay for it. I'm sorry. I will pay for it. I don't want to pay for it. No. Can't convince me with this.
That's a conversation that is at a high kind of story. No, right now I wouldn't be. This is an ideological thing where I would say it at the same time.
You don't want to pay for it either.
I don't want to pay for it either.
Exactly.
But there is, but what I would want is where society
would help them out and make them give.
Will get into a place where there's venues for this person to be able to get help, and not end up in the street, be shit away by 1 or 2 times.
No,
right? People make mistakes.
They do.
People fall off the wagon. People make mistakes. People overdo it. People have psychological stressors in life. People make mistakes. Human beings are prone to mistakes.
Right.
But if we create that person can fall better, fall less, help others. That's how you end up with better nurse care.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay for it, and I don't want to pay for it, right? Then who pays for it? Or they're struggling. The whole idea is that this is the safety net of when I'm not capable.
The accidents happen.
God forbid, you go home tonight, you trip and fall on a piece of ice.
That sucks.
You don't want society. I'm going to give you the opportunity to heal and come back.
Why? But why would they do that? Why
because
would?
You're a human being.
But then,
bro,
why?
Because you're a human being, man. Because you matter. Because you are valuable.
Because
you're not a slave.
I would expect my family, but not humans, like not
Why?
society, not like.
But why?
Because I don't care about them. It's like they don't care about me. Like
they do care about you.
They do. People don't.
They should care about you.
They don't care.
They should care about. They should care about you. Why wouldn't they?
The average Joe Blow. If I'm walking down the street, anywhere, if I'm in the mall.
But that's the society we've created here.
Yes.
But why can't we change that?
Why? No, we can change it, but I don't believe it's in our generation.
But why not?
I think.
But why not? If we don't start acting at it, why would another generation act?
It's too late for us.
It's not too late for us.
I think we're already ingrained.
Why is it too late for us?
Because
are you alive right now? Are you alive?
I'm alive.
Just right now?
I can.
You can make choices right now. I'm alive.
Please.
I can make choices right now.
I'm not in the Matrix. You're not.
You can make choices right now.
Yes,
right?
I can.
I can make choices right now.
Right.
I can choose to be nice to you.
Yes.
You can be nice to me.
Yes.
You can help me. I can help you when you need help.
Yes, but I know you.
Yes.
So that's different. Like, I'm talking about people that don't know me. Why would they care about me? Just like people that I don't know. Why would I care about them?
Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to know everybody in this village anymore because the village is now multi-million people.
Right. So I still no benefit to them. They know there's no benefit to me.
But there is a benefit to them.
What's the benefit?
Because you can be a beneficial leader within healthcare, within your profession, within McDonald's, within as a lawyer, within my mechanic, because you
believe in humanity more than I do. I don't.
I believe in humanity because that's the only thing we do have.
I don't believe.
My dog and my cat isn't the one that's gonna save my life. Humanity is. if I get an appendix bursting, right, my elephant is not going to come and, save me. My donkey is not going to come and save me.
They're getting paid for that. Their incentive is not just to help you for the kindness of their heart. Their incentive is to, let's do my job so I can get paid, so I can pay my bills and take care of my family. That's their incentive. I don't believe every doctor truly cares about their patients. I don't believe every nurse truly cares about their patients. I don't believe every teacher truly cares about teaching. I'm in survival mode, and society is right now in survival mode. And until everybody is where they don't have to be in survival mode, I don't think society that you're saying. I don't.
But my society is not a utopian society. My society is a society that understands struggles, that calls a spade, right? And understands that not everything has to be the same way that we're doing, and some things, changes can happen almost immediately if we choose it to. How is Trump getting all these things done right now? He comes in like a whirlwind, these executive orders out.
Okay, it's sponsorship on Wall Street and in corporate America. They have this political apparatchiks down in Washington, but they are in managed decline to unacceptable outcomes to average citizens. Managed decline for unacceptable outcomes to average citizens because they don't have to bear the brunt of it. They don't bear the brunt of the healthcare system in collapse. They don't bear the brunt of the education system in collapse. They're taken care of. To wit, they bring about the largest financial collapse in the country, and they're better off in 10 years. Why wouldn't you like this system? The system's working great for them. It's not managed decline for them. They're making more money on the way down than they made on the way up. And so that's where Trump is a rallying cry for that. Remember, the lead up to the inauguration is we're going to hit the deck plates running with these executive orders. We've got this whole system that Miller has gone through.
Tell me about that.
Well, an outside organization had done this theoretical analysis to show that every executive order that was still around from Obama and from Bush. And we had this whole thing. We had a whole tiger team of the White House counsel guys, the deconstruction of the administrative state, which is a huge element. Remember, in the first 100 days, every day we're going to be hitting with either 3 executive orders or whatever. Number one is that the Democratic Party's shattered. They don't know if they're coming or going, right? They got one group that's doing identity politics, another group that's the Clinton centrist. I said, we've broken them right now. They have no idea. They're going to have their own internal civil war, right? They'll keep them occupied for a while. So what we've got to do is just hit, and keep it. It's momentum. The opposition party is the media. And the media can only, because they're dumb and they're lazy, they can only focus on one thing at a time. And the one thing they'll mainly focus on is either they do the horse race, or once the horse race, who's in, who's out. Right. It's like the high school, who are the cool kids in the cafeteria, right? Because it's easy. It's the reason they do the horse race stuff all the time, right? And they won't do the basic, what are the core things that are going on in the country? I said, all we have to do is flood the zone. Every day we hit them with 3 things. They'll bite on one, and we'll get all of our stuff done. Bang, bang, bang. These guys will never be able to recover. But we got to start with muzzle velocity. So it's got to start, and it's got to hammer.
It's got to
muzzle velocity. You got it. When you get anything in life, remember the house is 5 to 7 against, right? To get something done, you've got to go through these certain stages of momentum and keep forcing it. And so otherwise, just pure inertia, right, or the loss of energy.
So did you know that the travel
and causing this chaos, right, might not even stick. He's just throwing it out there, but he's making those changes. He comes in, he's like, I'm going to do it. I don't know if I can do it. You hear him on stage. You think this is going to fly? I don't know. We're going to do it. Hopefully the court doesn't stop it. We're going to do it. Doesn't stop him, right? Nothing stops him. Nothing stops him. He's going to do it. Done? Great. If it doesn't get it, it will come out to it. Right? Yeah. He can spin it. He can do whatever. You can at least public viewpoint to the public forum. We can talk about it. We can change it later on. Maybe we don't have to change it later on. We can say, right? So nothing stops you. Same thing. Nothing is stopping you. You are alive. You're capable of making changes. You are capable of acting the way you and holding yourself to a certain expectation. Then you hold your neighbor to a certain expectation, to another. Will everybody stand to that expectation? No. However, that expectation becomes the norm for the people around you.
I see
That
what you're
social
saying.
norm, your social norm grows. That mentality grows. So then you have two ideologies. One ideology says, I don't use superficiality. When I do discriminate, I make sure at least, it's justified and not a discrimination, but a critique, right? You use these things to grow. Other mentality can be, I'm white trash, I'm ghetto, I'm this, I'm uneducated, I'd like to abuse the system and, freeload or, abuse myself and like blame it on you and then have you pay.
I think there are more of those than the other ones. I do.
But who cares? Who cares of what's more right now?
I don't want to pay for them. That's what it boils down to. I don't
And
want
that's
to
the
pay
mentality
for 'em.
that gets you paying for them more. Because we are avoiding the problem, because we're avoiding the issues, because we don't want to pay for them now, we're sweeping it under the rug, and what we don't realize, that rug is now turning into Mount Everest, and it's about to fucking collapse on us.
I don't want to pay for it.
You're gonna pay for it in the long term.
I just don't want to pay for it.
I love that American mentality, bro. I love that. It's not short-term gain. It's that capitalistic. It's not even American mentality anymore. It's that capitalistic mentality. Short-term.
Are you a socialist?
I'm not a socialist. I'm a humanist.
Just wanted to make sure.
But I am a socialist. You know
Really?
why I'm a
Oh,
socialist?
okay, so that's where this is coming from. Why?
You know why I will say I'm a socialist?
Why?
Because human beings are a social animal.
We are socialists.
Everybody's a fucking socialist.
I don't know.
Everybody. Yes, you are a socialist. You are.
Don't believe
You don't know what socialism is.
I
bro.
don't. How you gonna tell me?
You don't know what socialism
I does
is.
this, okay? I does this.
No.
Socialism does not work. There is no country that is socialist that is successful. But and financially, there is no country that is socialism that is socialist that is successful. I don't
disagree with that.
So
This is why I say you don't know what socialism is.
okay, so what's socialism? Then, if I don't know what socialism is?
None of you fools out there who are talking about if that statement comes out of your mouth,
Socialism.
if that statement is one of the statements that comes out of your mouth, that socialism does not work, and that socialism has never worked, and name me one country that socialism works, that tells me right off I know what socialism
So here's what
is.
socialism is. Socialism is when there is no owner, everyone shares the pot, essentially. Like no one, like
That's
no,
communism.
So what's the difference between communism and socialism?
Ownership.
That's what I said. No one owns anything. Everyone shares the pot, right?
But that's not the point.
Isn't
But that's-
communism extremism? So what's communism? So what's the difference? Educate me.
It's not even about that. It's not about that. It's about the idea of it being misconstrued.
Okay.
Okay, communism and socialism are ideologies that are good on paper, never in reality, at least not in the reality that we currently live in. True socialism and true communism to exist, you would need a society of two things. One, and generations living in a society, right? That part two is this, that it has enough energy production, right? That can compensate any type of creation needs, materialistic needs for the consumer. What I just said?
Yes.
Meaning a society that can literally create wants how it wants without any realistic limitation of energy. So therefore, the needs of the many can be essentially provided at free will. That technology does not exist just yet. We're working on it. However, the ideologies that conceive this do exist, meaning I don't go around stabbing you. Social norms, right? The basics. I don't go stealing from you. I make sure that if you fall, right, as a good human beings, at least I teach my kid that you should pick them up, right? Tripping somebody on purpose, right, to make fun of them. I don't go around pointing your skin color, is funny looking to me, right? I try to be sensitive to your emotional needs, right? Right? If your house is burning, I make sure that there is a system where can respond to you so that you don't everybody else's house as well because you screwed up on your barbecue, right? Or
So
a
what you're saying
social
is-
norm where if something's between you and your neighbor, right? Or
So America is socialism and capitalism.
Being
social
a human
capitalism.
being, exactly. Being a human being requires for you to be capitalist. A socialistic capitalist is what we're in right now.
I believe that definition.
Okay?
I still don't want to pay for it. I want to pay for it,
You
man.
live in
I don't
society?
want to pay for
You
y'all.
want to live in
You don't
society?
want I just don't.
You want, yes or no?
All right.
In society,
I want
yes or
everybody
no?
to pay the same amount of taxes. That's what I want. Everybody can pay the same amount of taxes. Brown be happy.
Everybody should
Whether-
not pay everybody.
See,
the same taxes.
Can we?
Everybody should not pay, because that's form of communism and socialism. That'd be that.
Everybody should pay the same number of taxes.
Which is it? You want that or you don't want that
What?
stuff?
Well, I want equality.
No, you don't want equality.
I want
Equality
equality
is
and
dumb.
equity. Equity. Sorry. Hold on. According to this, I want equity. I want everybody to pay the same amount equally.
In retribute of what they, if I make $1 billion, well,
But if I make $100, 20%. That's what I want. Everybody pays the same 20%.
but everybody shouldn't pay the same 20%.
Oh, gosh.
though. Because if you're making $100 and I'm making $1 billion, 20%, and you pay 20%, fair to you. That's where
What's 20%?
that's where equity.
What's 20% of 100? What's that? $20? So you 20% of $1 billion. What's that? Something million? 200 million?
Then as long as we keep inflation under check,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Then you will the government infringe upon your personal rights. You do understand? Meaning of this.
I'm not okay
No.
with it.
Let me explain what you're about to be okay with.
Uh-huh.
Then the government will say that, hey, private corporation, technology is becoming easier.
Mm-hmm.
The process of production is becoming easier. Use should become cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Demand and supply can still, dictative or whatever, and market comes and goes. But the raw product for this costs $1. You should not spend more than $6 on this maximum.
Okay.
So that means your price cap on this is now $6.
But there should be price caps on some things.
But now you are infringing upon as a profiteering
Socialism,
American.
capitalism. I mean,
Oh.
I believe what you say.
Okay.
I think there is some socialism that's necessary and some capitalism that's necessary. But I still don't want to pay for people though.
But you see how the word social, you've been socially engineered to think that socialism, that communism is a bad thing.
Well, I do believe it can work.
Again, these things work.
To be honest with you.
A capitalist would make you and I a slave.
They don't. Nothing.
Capitalism would make me and you a slave.
Yes, that is true. I believe that.
Let's call a spade a spade, bro.
We are kind of slaves.
We are slaves right now.
I believe that.
I'm a slave to my student loans.
Yep. I'm a slave to debt.
No other country, for my Americans who have never lived, your mortgage, that doesn't exist in other countries in this format. Your home sales tax doesn't exist in other countries the way it does in this country. In another country, when you own your house, you own your house outright. Pay a sales tax or a property. But if you panhandle, chances are you can still pay that off.
Yeah.
So you don't lose your home property in other countries. Welcome to the land of the free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got our issues, but as long as one thing remains the same.
We're distracted too much. And of these states and these
Social engineering, tribalism.
I wanted to say something earlier, much earlier. Somebody said this to me, and I want this to be known. Are on a boat, that the left side of the boat is starting a fight with the right side of the boat. But they're not realizing
That's why.
are going at each other excessively, unnecessarily. No, unnecessarily, not
Well,
unnecessarily.
I think some of these
There-
things need to be debated and discussed. That's why I said Like certain things we should be at least having a conversation to come up with common sense stuff like that's being talked about right now. I believe that. So yes, that's why I would.
Yes, fair enough, fair. But we're still the same.
Yeah. Once you realize that we're all in the same boat and we're all humans and we're all living the same human experience, then yes, that does change things. However, I think in reality, we're not all matrix, and I think yes, those that know should try to help people out the matrix. And I keep saying, however, it's to be realistic. There are gonna be some bad apples. There's always gonna be bad apples, and what I'm trying to do is not pay for the bad apples. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to pay for it. Better nurse care. I do like that we have opposing views.
That's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
That's what makes life more interesting.
Yeah.
Good for nothing dog. Copper, his life has not been easy, though, so I don't mind. Good. First, we go with the death of our little sweet confused one. Then, after that, everyone projected definite, real end of world scenarios. Healthcare needs to have a social responsibility, social healthcare responsibility. 'Cause individual people don't always know what's good for them. Listen to me, you never know what's good for